So in case you guys didn't know, and it's understandable if you didn't, a lot of people didn't know, there was a No Kings protest across the nation, every city, everybody and their mama was not there really. There was a No Kings protest and it kind of really flopped considering it's nationwide. Nobody's talking about it like 2 days later. And that is because it lacked the very essential element of foundational Black Americans.
The price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
Family, Black first to every single last one of y'all. I appreciate y'all being here. We were having some things. I know the sound was a little bit off. Am I good now? Y'all let me know if I'm good. If I'm good, let me know. Let me know if I'm good. And I apologize for keeping y'all waiting. I don't want to do that. It's just downloading some of these clips takes such a long time. So I developed a new method. Okay. So we don't lag and stuff like that, or whatever the case is. So I developed a new method. So I want y'all to lock in. So we're going to get straight into it. Now, before we get straight into it, I got to play the copyright disclaimer to establish to YouTube that everything we play thus forth will be protected under the guise of fair use, So, everything we do is on the up and up. Everything we do is legit. YouTube, don't hate on the player. Come on, we family. We locked in. Now, I'm going to be right back. Before I go, what I would greatly appreciate for every single last one of y'all to do is to hit that like button. All right? Share this, put a thing in a comment, all of that. Let's go. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So we know right now there's a lot of it's a lot of stuff going on in LA. We already know that. It's a lot of ice raids and stuff like that going on in LA, and we still got to talk about it because I'm going to approach this live stream this evening, ladies and gentlemen, with a little bit of a different angle, all right? So let's go where we left off, all right? Let's go where we left off. Now, a couple months ago when Trump first got elected and it was first going on and everything like that, and this circles to the No Kings protest or whatever they think they had. So this circles back to that. So I'm going to be pulling up these videos individually because that's going to make things go faster, right? That's going to make things go faster. So there was mass deportations. And we were sitting on the couch the whole time, all year long, really, for everybody else's interest. We've been on the couch and they was all like, oh, we don't need y'all. Do y'all remember this, man? Do y'all remember this? Okay.
A lot of videos of
just so we can refresh our memory. Do y'all remember this guy? Okay, remember he said that Hispanics are strong and Hispanics stick together and Hispanics don't need our help. We're going to do a little rewind. We're going to just skip to the end because we got much to discuss, y'all. So we're going to skip to the end.
You want to call me racist? Go right ahead. I'm just keeping it real. Like I said, Mexican people are not alone. They have all of us. What makes you think that a Mexican will say, oh, okay, well, we have the blacks. Let's go to them. Come on now. Y'all don't even trust each other. What makes you think that a Mexican will trust you if you don't even trust your brother? Get your popcorn ready and watch how Mexicans make this work.
Get your popcorn ready and watch how Mexicans make this work. That's something else. So we're going to see how Mexicans have been making this work, right? Now, remember, can we, first off, before we go, can we get some popcorn in the chat room? My brothers and sisters, because that's what he said. That's what we're doing. We're supposed to be getting our popcorn ready. So can we get a lot of popcorn in the chat room? Because what we're going to do is we're going to do a status report. That's what we need to do. They said we can't trust each other. Let them do. They got Salvadorian people and Hispanic people and Nicaraguan people and now this people and now that people and this people and that people, and they're strong together and they don't need our help. Okay. They said, get your popcorn ready and watch how we get this done. I said, all right then. I got the big bucket. I got the big bucket of popcorn, and I'm at the bottom of it. I'm sitting up there. My hands is all buttery, touching the bottom of the bucket of popcorn. All right, waiting for y'all to get stuff done. So let's do a status report and check how well they've been getting stuff done, because they said they've been out here handling business. All right, so let's see that. All right, come on now.
Just about exactly an hour ago, the faces of the men and women being put into a total of 2 vans have been blurred because we don't know whether they face any charges. This all started with concerns that people were being detained after reporting to the Intensive Supervision Appearance Program
Office. They're getting it done,
also known as ISAP,
okay.
right here at 2254 South Michigan Avenue.
It looks like ICE
ISAP
getting
is
it done.
to
me personally, I'm not trying
to monitor individuals released from ICE custody while they await immigration court proceedings. I'm told by immigrant advocates that people received texts this week from ISAP to report to the office, and instead of it being a routine check-in where they would leave afterwards, they were detained soon after ICE agents arrived, as did a few aldermen. At one point, 35th Ward Alderman Anthony Cazada and 33 Ward Alderwoman Rosanna Rodriguez Sanchez sat on the ground, blocking an ICE van from pulling into a lot next door to the ISAP office. After more ICE agents arrived, the angry crowd shouting shame as more than a dozen people were brought outside and put into the vans.
That's y'all handling business. That's come on, man. Listen. Don't tell me I wasted my popcorn for that. I could have been eating popcorn doing something else. I'm sitting up there eating popcorn waiting on y'all to handle business, and y'all getting in the back of the truck. We wasting our popcorn for, I mean, to be honest, I'm enjoying it. That's not, it's a good entertainment, good show. I love it. I tune in every week. It's false advertisement though. Great entertainment, better than what I expected. False advertisement, because I thought y'all was going to be scrapping. I thought y'all was going to be handling business. Y'all just walking in the back of the ICE truck, ready to go back to your country. So, it's great. False advertisement. We need to work on that a little bit. Okay? You can't trust us. We can't trust your word, because you said that y'all was going to be handling it. Now you going back to Mexico. Okay, so you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So because of that, and because of the fact that they've been just shipped back, now they sitting up there asking for our help again. Now they sitting up there like, hey, black people, listen. Hold on. They said, listen, black people, we gotta work together. We gotta work together in this. Hold on.
Communities have always been like this, and we should continue staying like that.
The Latino and black communities have always been like this.
The Latino and black communities have always been like this, and we should continue staying like that. There's no reason why the two communities should be fighting, okay? We have fought next to each other, side by side, since the civil rights movement, okay? There's no time for beef on either side. We need to stand together, especially with everything that's going on right now in this country. So just a reminder that the Latino community and the black community are like this always.
Yeah, see, the problem is that's incorrect. Yeah, see, that's the problem. The Latino community and black community have not been like that. And now y'all going on crazy racist rants, and y'all getting all upset, and y'all offended. Y'all pissed off that we not out here. We're not out here saving y'all. We're just doing a little reminder. We're doing a status report before we get into the larger conversation, which is why I need y'all to hit that like button. We're just doing a status report. We're just trying to see if you guys are like handling the business like y'all said y'all was gonna be doing. Y'all said, watch me. We gonna show y'all how to get it done. That's what they said. So we watching, and I'm not seeing anything that, impressive. It looked like y'all losing, and y'all been losing the whole time. I'm just kind of waiting on y'all to, get it together, because I could eat popcorn any other time. I don't understand. I mean, y'all pissed off that we not coming to save you or even mentioning that. Well, look at this. Come on now.
Is when they had the BLM protest, everybody was popping out. Every celebrity, YG, the Ball brothers, everybody was popping out. All the sports teams putting BLM on their back, wearing BLM shirts, freedom, wearing all these shirts. I'm talking about the NBA right now, actually. Where is that now? Where are the celebrities now? Where are they protesting now? Where are the teams?
Y'all said we could eat popcorn. That's what they doing. He said, where are the celebrities now? Where's everybody now? LeBron, Beyonce, all of them, they're eating popcorn. Y'all said y'all was good. Remember, y'all said y'all didn't need no help. Y'all be the first ones to call us. Hispanics be calling black folk lazier. Sorry, it was echo. Hispanics be calling black people lazy faster than the damn white people do. Hispanics be the first ones to say that you lazy and we work hard and we do need your help and all of this stuff. Y'all be the first ones to do that. And then the second we don't come and help y'all, hold on. Where's LeBron? Where's Beyonce? She ain't gonna say nothing. What you mean? Yeah, what? No. Y'all said y'all got it. So we just trying to wait for y'all to do that. Okay, we just trying to wait. Come on now. You got us wasting this good popcorn. I'm talking about they all switching up. They all switching up. Hold on. Let me leave this room real quick. Do y'all remember Ryan Garcia, the boxer? I think he was, or whatever the case. I think he was a boxer. Still is a boxer. Don't know. So Ryan Garcia, this guy, he's done a complete 180. Ryan Garcia is out here copping pleas. Okay, let's see what Ryan Garcia had to say. Ryan Garcia, I may have voted for Trump, but I cannot stay silent about what's happening with ICE in LA. These aren't just illegals or statistics. They're people, hardworking immigrants, especially Mexicans, who pay taxes, raise families, build our communities, and are part of a people we love. I'm speaking French. Ripping them away from their homes is not just policy, it's pain. We can have borders without losing our humanity. Why? Don't do this to me. I can't believe it. I can't believe you're doing this to me. Now, he admitted he voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump has made it abundantly clear, if anything else, what his agenda is as far as immigration. That is the main thing Donald Trump has made clear. If he's made anything else clear, he's made it clear secondary to his thoughts on immigration. Ryan Garcia, you still voted. And let me tell you why Ryan Garcia voted. I'm going to tell you why. Ryan Garcia voted because he thought that Donald Trump was going to help him get black people. See, Ryan Garcia got it messed up. And it all started a while ago. I'm going to tell y'all why. If y'all not sports fans, stay tuned. See, Ryan Garcia, as a Hispanic man, he thought he was big bad. He got some speed, I guess, whatever the case is. Ryan Garcia, he was not ready for his fight against Javante Tank Davis. See, he thought that he could be the FBA brother. That's what he thought. Now, of course, he had some anti-blackness and stuff like that. But before that, it didn't really manifest. But it wasn't until his fight and humiliation with our brother Javante Tank Davis, he showed him that boxing has for always really ever been and forever will be a foundational Black American man sport. That's just what it is. Ain't nobody else coming and take the throne. Ain't nobody else coming and take it. It's been there since Muhammad Ali, since Mike Tyson, since Tank said, boxing is just what we do best. Ain't nobody coming to take that. All y'all gotta cheat. He got beat so bad. This man had to take a knee. He had to quit. He had to give up. He had to, you could kind of say that's kind of like fleeing the boxing ring, if you want to say. Some people might say that. It's like you're fleeing your own boxing ring. He fled the fight. That's kind of what it is. You're fleeing the fight. The fight is not over, but you're fleeing the fight. That's what he did. I'm not going to sit up here and lie about it, right? Oh, that's what he did. Oh, and after that, he was like, the second he got, his eyes started to come back to normal size. The second he was able to regain consciousness, he was all like, okay, Chat GPT, how can I join the KKK? He said, Chat GPT, is there any Klan rallies around me? Chat GPT, where is the closest Cracker Barrel so I can file an application? Okay. This is what he was on.
I'm anti-black.
Look,
Nigga.
he got beat so bad. He was sitting up there like, hold on, man. I gotta lynch somebody. I understand. He got beat so. It's not right. It's really not. But when you got thousands of pictures on the internet like this, and then the other picture that follows up is immediately this, that is gonna lead you. I mean, that's gonna lead you to this.
These niggas. I hate niggas. I'm anti-black. Nigga, I'm KKK, nigga. I hate niggas.
Nigga, I'm KKK.
No, nigga, I'm KKK. Hey, let's go bring George Floyd back to life and kill that nigga again.
Why do you?
He got beat so bad the ancestral Spanish racism came out of him. He got beat so bad. I hate niggas. KKK for me. Oh yeah. Let's bring George Floyd back and kill him again. I mean, that's how bad he got beat. Okay. All right. Now, you might lose a lot more than your dignity if you ever decide to do a rematch after that, Ryan. But now you send up there, copping, please listen, they're not just statistics, they're people. What are you doing? You deported my auntie. I don't want my people. No, dude. And don't be asking us for help. I mean, I'm sitting up there talking about, they was all like, where's this? They out here being desperate. Okay. The Latinas, have y'all seen the Latinas? The Latinas is just out here thirst trapping at this point. Honestly. They out here thirst trapping. I saw this picture. I said, what the hell do we have going on here? What is this? I said, what is this? She's sitting up there. She was like, whatever pants make my butt look big, in a crop top to the protest. She said, I need more black men at the protest. Hold on. Let me tie this shirt back. You brothers, and I'm speaking specifically to the brothers. You know it's bad when the Latinas is out at the protest with Victoria's Secret on. You know it's bad. They out there with Latoya. You know it's bad when they send up there like, okay, hold on, let me hold the flag next to my cleavage. You know it's bad, and they need some desperate help. They out here the thirst trapping, sitting up there back arch talking about, yes, end ICE. Brothers, don't fall for that, man. Hold on now. Don't fall for it. She sent up there. They said, whatever model we need more black folk there. And this is why when we be having, if y'all seen, when we be having the whole spaces and stuff like that, or the TikToks, and you have the brother be all like, man, the Hispanics always been nice to me, and I'm always cool with Hispanics. This is what they talking about. Interracial sexual access. That's what they talking about. They're like, no, man, I've always got along with Hispanics. Nah, you got a little Hispanic girl at the crib or at your job that you like to flirt with a little bit. You know, the Hispanic, no, black and brown, we got to stick together now. Come on. We all victims of white supremacy. Man, dude, okay. We got niggas getting booty whipped. Don't do that. Don't, come on now. She sent up there. How you think she got in this country in the first place? She had to put something to work for a green card, and now she got to put something to work to stay in the country. Don't do that, man. You are not no border patrol. She's not here to whipping on you so she can stay in the country. Don't do that. And see, this is what makes Ryan Garcia so mad, because he can't do that. This is why the Hispanic men are so upset, because they can't do that. That's why they mad. See, the Latino women are like, look, we gonna have to get it how we live. We're gonna have to. I can kind of put on my tight jeans or whatever the case is, and I can see if I could maybe flirt my way into the country or have a green card. See, Ryan can't do that. He can't really box, so he's not entertaining. The Mexican men, y'all, you're kind of short, and you know what I'm saying? You ain't really got no people can really understand you. You know, a lot of y'all don't be speaking English that well, so you lose people in conversation. When you know you lose a woman in conversation when she's trying to talk to you, and you, huh? I don't understand. What, huh? Can you say it again? Hold on, let me get my Google Translate. And yeah, it's not really like you lose the charisma when you need Google Translate to flirt. That's what I'm saying. So the Hispanic men, that's why they flipping out, because they can't pull up a shirt. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing to flash to stay in the country. So that's why they all like, you know what? Let's just get the niggas while we here.
These niggas. I hate niggas. I'm anti-black. Nigga, I'm KKK, nigga. I hate niggas.
Nigga, I'm KKK.
Look, man, come on now. Come on. That's why they mad. That's why they mad. Now, somebody say, can you blame them? I can. Now, the thing is that why are we not out there? Because if you look at the whole No Kings protest, when you see the video of the No Kings protest, it's a lot of white liberals. And this was nationwide. You don't see too many pictures of no black folk, especially no FBA at the quote unquote No Kings protests that went around the whole nation. And then most of these people are boomers. Most of these people are old. You seeing a lot of old white folk at this FBA kind of not tripping. FBA not really tripping like that. And they sitting up there like, what's going on? What's going on? And that's because we've learned from a very deadly mistake about who we are. Okay? We've learned about that. So that leads us into the main character, or the subject. I'm the main character, but we're going to get into one of the biggest subjects of this evening's video. Barack Hussein Obama. Now, if you guys remember Barack Obama can't stand black people damn near like he's a Hispanic, you would think. You'd think Barack couldn't stand black people like he was a damn Hispanic, the way Barack talks to black people. Okay, let's just do a very, very brief reminder, just in case a lot of people are like, what do you want with Obama? Like, y'all never gave Obama a chance. That's what a lot of black people, y'all never gave Obama a chance. Nobody gave Obama a chance. No, Obama was given more chances than he needed. Okay, he was given more chances than he needed, y'all. And this is how Obama is with black folk, in particular black men.
About sitting out or even supporting somebody. You're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is? Putting women down? That's not acceptable.
To tell us to be what quote unquote being a man is. Oh yeah, this is Obama telling us what we need to do to be real men. So in the wake of all of these protests that are going on, Obama had a message talking about immigration. So here's what Obama had to say about immigration. He says, 13 years ago, my administration acted to protect young people who were American in every sense, in every other way but one, on paper. And this was the president of the United States for 2 terms. If you are not American on paper, you're not an American. America is a nation. Okay? To be an American, that's your nationality. If you are not a documented American, you are not an American. I can't sit up there and go anywhere around the world and be like, technically, I'm technically like a Mexican in every other way but paper and nationality. But besides that, I mean, I love me some tacos now. Then he continues to say, DACA was an example of how we can be a nation of immigrants and a nation of laws. Okay. So now that the laws are being enforced, you're saying that we shouldn't be doing that. And it's an example worth remembering today when families with similar backgrounds just want to live, work, and support their communities and are being demonized and treated as enemies. We can fix our immigration system while still recognizing our common humanity and treating others with dignity and respect. In fact, it's the only way we ever will. Okay, all right. And then this leads me down the thing, and I've been wanting to talk about this for the longest time. Obama was one of, not the only, but Obama was definitely one of the biggest factors in setting us back as foundational Black Americans. One of the biggest factors. And we don't have a long time to get into it, but we're going to get into one of the things that I want to talk about. And this is why none of these protests against ICE and all of that stuff, that's why none of that stuff is working. Okay. Why none of that stuff is working is because Obama was one of the people to tell us that we are a quote unquote nation of immigrants and we're all immigrants and everybody here is an immigrant. Hold on. Remember? Oh, why is this thing frozen?
Immigration's always been an issue that inflames passions. Immigration's always been an issue that inflames passions. That's not surprising. You know, there are few things that are more important to us as a society than who gets to come here and call our country home. Who gets the privilege of becoming a citizen of the United States of America? That's a big deal. When we talk about that in the abstract, it's easy sometimes for the discussion to take on a feeling of us versus them. And when that happens, a lot of folks forget that most of us used to be them.
Not foundational Black Americans. No, not foundational Black Americans. Most of us, no, we were not them. No.
We forget that.
Now, when he says us, Obama's a tether. Obama's a tether. So, yeah, he might be referring to himself and his family. He's not speaking for foundational Black Americans.
I mean, it's really important for us to remember our history. You know, unless you're one of the first Americans, a Native American, you came from someplace else. Somebody brought you.
And now we're going to get into the Native American thing in just a little bit. Y'all stay tuned and hit that like button. We're going to get into that. Okay. Now, unless you're a Native American, you came from somewhere else. I mean, it could have been here or there or here or like me. It could be anywhere, but not here. That's the point.
The Irish, who left behind a land of famine. The Germans, who fled persecution. The Scandinavians, who arrived eager to pioneer out west. The Polish, the Russians, the Italians, the Chinese, the Japanese, the West Indians, the huddled masses who came through Ellis Island on one coast and Angel Island on the other.
Now, keep in mind, all of the people he just named voluntarily left a nation to go to another nation. That makes them immigrants when you deliberately leave your nation so you can become citizens in another nation. That's what makes you that.
Now, all those folks, before they were us, they were them. And when each new wave of immigrants arrived, they faced resistance from those who were already here. They faced hardship. They faced racism. They faced ridicule. But over time, as they went about their daily lives, as they earned a living, as they raised a family, as they built a community, as their kids went to school here, they did their part to build a nation. They were the Einsteins and the Carnegies but they are also the millions of women and men whose names history may not remember, but whose actions help make us who we are, who built this country hand by hand, brick by brick. They all came here knowing that what makes somebody an American is not just blood or birth, but allegiance to our founding principles and the faith in the idea that anyone from anywhere can write the next great chapter of our story. And that's still true today.
No. Now, here's the thing. Notice he didn't bring us up. If you notice that, he didn't bring us up because us as foundational Black Americans are not immigrants. Now, he makes other claims. This is a nation of immigrants, a nation of immigrants, a nation of immigrants. But the erasure of, unless you were quote unquote native, you're not an immigrant. And they say this about foundational Black Americans all the time, and we're going to have to get into it. All of the time when foundational Black Americans exclusively try to connect ourselves to anything indigenous whatsoever, it's always, well, you guys were brought here. You guys are not native. You guys are not native at all. Now, do you guys remember this guy right here?
Saying they're native.
Hold on. I made a whole video about this. You guys remember this guy right here? We're going to talk about our indigenous history here for a little bit, y'all. If y'all got y'all pens and papers, y'all please be ready. Please be.
A lot of celebs saying they're native. Ice Cube, Waka Flocka, Chris Brown, Kanye West. They're all saying they're native because they know the truth. We are now entering the era of the red man. You're going to see natives in movies more. We're going to hear more of our songs. We're going to have more athletes and all that. They've always tried to suppress us. This is our home, right? Everybody else is not in their home. We are the only people that are in our home. And now entering the era of the red man, they've always suppressed us. It's been 100 years. This year you've been recognized as United States citizens when this is our stuff. It's not even the United States. They stole that from the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. The founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin and them, were spying on Iroquois government, really taking down notes so they can put it in their constitution.
Oh, hold on. My bad. I'll pull this back up.
Immigration's always been an issue that inflamed.
Come on, that computer. No, okay. Now he goes on. He makes several videos. My fault. He makes several videos where he's out here just straight up trolling foundational Black Americans. Y'all not immigrants. Y'all not immigrants. I'm gonna give y'all another one. Okay. This is one of the ones that caught my attention up, have me find his page in the first place. Okay.
You guys, they're saying we're learning from them. We've been Indian our whole lives. You've been Indian since you downloaded TikTok. The fuck? They get our information and then they twist it and try to blackwash it. I'm here to correct all that. Y'all are not the Indians. Y'all are not indigenous from here. I actually don't know where the fuck you guys are from, but y'all weren't here with us. We have treaties with the people that came here and even the tribes that were here. How come y'all don't have a treaty with us? If you were here, how come you guys don't have clans? How come you guys don't have a clan? Everybody has a clan. It's either animal, plant, or bird that's indigenous to the Americas. How come you guys don't have that? How come y'all don't know the language? Any language? How come you speak AAVE, African American Vernacular English, slang or whatever, right?
He's saying that while he's speaking English. Just to keep that in mind, let's put that into context for you. He's saying, how come y'all don't speak your native tongue in English? This man is speaking English fluently. All right, just to keep this in mind as he's dissing us for not speaking our quote unquote native tongue in English, which is not his native tongue. Let him tell it.
Because it comes from Africa, Ibu. It's got Ebonics in it. Right? You guys are from there. Take a DNA test, yo. Take a DNA test.
Okay. Now, then you also have, and this is one of the things that they've done. They've tried to manipulate us and to tell our history for us, and they want us to believe, well, technically y'all wouldn't have came here at all. The only time y'all came here, the only black presence here was during chattel slavery, and if it wasn't for chattel slavery, y'all wouldn't have been here. Besides Europeans bringing you guys here, you guys wouldn't have existed on this land whatsoever. It wouldn't have happened, and we all know that for a fact, when that's not a fact. Okay, and it's been used, family, listen, it's been used to manipulate us into going along with a different agenda, because when you know you're from some place and you have a claim to a land and you have more knowledge of self, your fight is very different, which is why, since we've acknowledged our history, our deep-rooted history that's native and indigenous here, and we're gonna get the receipts for you in just a second, y'all. Okay, the fact that we've acknowledged that, and now that has caused the strength behind us delineating. Now everybody's trying to gaslight us, and it's not working like it used to. Now you have this lady right here, okay, because you got a whole bunch of them in America waving their Hispanic Mexican flags, and people are like, well, if you love Mexico so much, why don't you go to Mexico? So this Hispanic woman has something to say about that.
The people who don't understand why we would be waving Mexican flags at the protests are so disconnected from their ancestors. You guys have no idea where you came from. You don't know which countries your ancestors are from. If you ask a lot of people that are not Hispanic, they don't know where their family came from.
Now, mind you, I want you to keep this in mind, how anti-black this is. Everybody is making the comment, why are you waving the Mexican flag in America, protesting about not leaving America? Everybody is asking that question because it just doesn't look right. It looks like an oxymoron. And notice who she's addressing. When she said, you guys don't know where you're from, she's addressing us as foundational Black Americans. She's not saying that about Europeans. She's not saying that about Asians. She's not saying that about Arabs or any other group of people who are also making the same comments, asking why they're waving the Mexican flag in California to protest not going to Mexico. The only group of people she's addressing are foundational Black Americans. That's the only people that they're mad at, family. The only people that they have any smoke for at all are foundational Black Americans. That's the only people she's sitting up there trying to disrespect. She's trying to gaslight. You don't know where you're from. A lot of people don't know where they're from. When she means foundational Black Americans, let's just put that into context.
Ancestors are from. If you ask a lot of people that are not Hispanic, they don't know where their family came from. That's cool. If you're so disconnected that you don't know where your roots come from, that's cool. But we do. We know where we're from, and we take pride in our ancestors. I take pride in my roots.
Go back.
I take pride in the beautiful place that my family is from. Did my family leave where they were from? Yes, they did. That doesn't mean that I can't have pride in where I came from. I have been to Mexico many, many times over the past few years. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. There's beautiful people, beautiful culture, beautiful food, beautiful scenery. It's an amazing place.
Then why didn't you stay? Huh? Why didn't you stay? It's a beautiful place with beautiful food and beautiful people and beautiful lands and beautiful weather and beautiful sand and beautiful houses and beautiful things. Why didn't you stay? It couldn't be that great. You the one sitting up there and like, crying about not going back, and it's so beautiful. Okay, why didn't you stay? That's my only question. Why didn't you stay? She said she's been there many times. That means she's been there for like a weekend talking about, I need to get back. I need to get back. I'm tired of this American stuff. No, I mean this Mexican stuff. I'm not that Mexican. I'm really not that Mexican. I'll be eating that Taco Bell. I'm not that Mexican now. Come on, let me please, coyotes, please come get me.
We know where we're from and we love where we're from. And you guys don't understand because you have no fucking idea about your history. You have no idea. And honestly, I think that's kind of sad. I think it's really sad. So when you see us waving Mexican flags, that's because we're proud of where we come from. The people that are cooking the fucking food in all the restaurants around here. And they work so fucking hard. They do the jobs that none of the Americans want to do. You ask any of these little mom and pop shops, who comes in to apply for a cook position? Who comes in to apply for janitor position? Paying minimum wage or less? I'll tell you one thing, it's not Americans. And back to the main topic.
Yeah, we're worth more. That's the reason. We're worth more. And it's not that, oh, y'all don't want to work minimum wage. There's some Black folk, Foundation Black Americans who's working minimum wage. Notice, and I want y'all to notice this. Write this down. Take this note. Take this note, y'all. Anytime they say working minimum wage or low pay, that means getting paid under the table. That's what that means. Because Hispanics or Mexicans in particular are not the only people who are working minimum wage jobs. They're not the only people working quote unquote low wage jobs. What that means is that they're working under the table illegally. They're framing it as, well, this is low pay. Yeah, it's low pay because you're working under the table. So let's put that into its proper perspective here.
Like, I'm gonna wave my fucking Mexican flag. And we're trying to keep things peaceful right now. But don't think that we can't get crazy because this is Los Angeles. And we're known to get crazy, so don't take us there. Don't make us go there, because
who are you threatening? Hold on, man. Hold on. That we don't need another rematch. No. We don't need no other rematch. You Ryan, you better get your folk. Ryan, you better get your folk. Talk about don't take us there. Ryan, you better let them know. We're gonna send Tank back at you. You better let them know we ain't trying that. Don't do that. You better get your abuela. You better get your Latina out there. She was talking about, because she ain't gonna step to nobody. She ain't gonna bust no grape. She gonna send the Ryan Garcias out there, be all like, I challenge the blacks to a fight, Ryan. You have to go get them. Ryan, you better let them know your face just starting to get back to normal size. You better let them know you was not ready for that. He gonna come out there with an apology. I want to apologize on behalf of the Latinas. They just feel some type of way. Sometimes they can be a little rowdy, but I promise you, I don't want no smoke with y'all. Please, you better let them know, Ryan.
we know how to go there, and we've done it many times in the past. And if it has to go there, then it has to go there. Right now, we're not trying to go there, and I'm not even trying to talk about that too much. I'm trying to say I'm proud of where I'm from. People are so confused. Oh, why didn't you just go back to Mexico? Why are you waving? Why are these people waving the Mexican flag? Why don't they just go back to Mexico? We can't go back to Mexico because we're from here.
You from here? Whoa. Y'all from everywhere. You was just talking about how much you love Mexico and you're from Mexico, and now you're from America. How y'all from America and Mexico? And all of this gaslighting of we're not native, we're all immigrants, and y'all all immigrants, and y'all wouldn't have been here without slavery and all of that stuff. Let me show you guys one of my favorite clips from our good brother. Hold on, as soon as it loads up, Lord. From our good brother, Dr. Claude Anderson, and he breaks this down and he talks about this. Listen to this.
His ancestors came here to get free handouts.
Here we go.
No immigrant spent 3 months crossing. He came here. His ancestors came here to get free handouts. That's why they came here. No immigrant spent 3 months crossing perilous oceans to get to the United States looking for happiness. They came here to get handouts, to get free benefits. See, understand this, Rock, and I want your audience to understand it too. 99% of all the black people in America are the direct descendants of slaves, which means they were here before 99% of all the other people arrived. All these people are coming to this country boasting about, my family came from Germany, my parents came from Ireland, my parents came from Greece or Italy. They came here for a specific reason, to get benefits. They get unearned benefits, to profit and enjoy the fruits of black folks' labor and the Indian land. They've already gotten theirs. And now what they're saying is that Now that we've gotten everything, we got control of it, we got it free and passed it from generation to next generation, we're not gonna let you have anything. And see, that's grossly unfair and it's immoral. And the worst thing that our society is doing, and they should cease in doing it, is they start equating black folk to all these fabricated groups like minorities and poor folk and people of color and Asians and Hispanics coming into the country. These people coming to this country today get unearned benefits to enjoy the fruits of black folks' labor. Nobody shut them down. The Chinese started pouring into California after the Civil War to get benefits. And the Mexicans, there were no, in the Civil War, you had about 6,000 Hispanics in the United States. And now you got about almost 50-something million. They came in looking for benefits.
And I heard Jesse Jackson say one day that, you know, all other groups came here seeking a thrill.
That's right. They came.
Black folks came here obviously against their will.
See, as black folk are the only non-immigrants. Our country is structured on immigrant rights to give them benefits. Mm-hmm. Black folk are the only non-immigrants in this country. I know people always say, well, Indians are immigrants. Indians were the original people. No, they were not. The original people in this country were black folk. The Folsom people that came in this country about 16,000 years ago. The so-called American Indians are Asians that came across the Bering Straits about 6,000 years ago. So what I'm saying is that everybody comes to this country to get benefits except black folk. Nobody wants to stick up for and fight for black folks. And you cannot solve the racial problem in this country unless you create a circumstance where black folk can acquire some wealth, power, decent communities, functional schools, and be able to take care of their own people and be self-supported and competitive and independent.
Can we get the fireball emoji in the chat room for our good brother Dr. Claude Anderson? Can we please get the fireball emoji in the chat room for Dr. Claude Anderson? Because that is 100% the truth. Now let's go through a little. We got more clips, but let's go through a little bit of the history, because now we're finally starting to catch on. Because what they've been saying is that the people who claim to be native, this guy right here who claims to be native, I want you to have a really, really, really good look at him. Let's have a really good look at the man. And all of these people, when they claim to be indigenous, when they claim to be native, never gets challenged, ever. Nobody challenges them. Even when the Hispanics claim to be indigenous, nobody challenges Hispanics. Everybody else can claim some bit of indigenous history except black folk, except foundational black Americans. We're the only people who can't do that. All right? Just keep that in mind. We're the only people who can't do that. Let's go to the definition. Okay? Because a lot of people use native and indigenous kind of interchangeably, but there's slight differences, okay? While both native and indigenous generally refers to something originating from a particular place, indigenous, quote indigenous, is typically used to describe the original inhabitants of a land, often with a focus on their historical and cultural connection to that place, while native can be a broader term referring to anything originating from a specific location, including plants, animals, or even people. So because of the fact that foundational black Americans were here and slave labor built the country before it was a country, we've made the argument that, yeah, well, technically, by definition, if we were here before the country was a country, that would, by definition of the word, it would make us native. So they're all like, okay, well, they've been fighting that, but they were like, you know what? I guess we could possibly maybe give you guys native. We could possibly give y'all native. We could possibly do that. But let me make the argument to you guys now that they can't just give us native. We can also, there's also plenty of evidence of us being indigenous to this land. Now, let's go back to what Dr. Claude Anderson had to say.
His ancestors came here to get free handouts. Black.
So it's the
Bering Straits about 6,000 years ago.
Listen,
the original people in this country were black folk. The Folsom people that came in this country about 16,000 years ago. The so-called American Indians are Asians that came across the Bering Straits about 6,000 years ago.
Okay, now let's go into the Bering Straits. We're going to do a little bit of history, right? So the theory that people say is that in Americas, the Indians or quote unquote Native Americans got here through the Bering Straits. So let's look at that. I got some images up here. So when we talk about they came from Siberia or Mongolian, that's why we call it the Mongolian or the Siberian natives, okay? This was really a part of Asia, to be honest. You see Asia right there with Russia right there. This is Siberia, big land, Siberia. The Bering Straits happened thousands of years ago, and there was an ice age that created a bridge from Siberia to Alaska. Now, that ice age lasted roughly, there's different numbers on this. That ice age lasted thousands of years ago. You guys, are y'all following me? Okay, I want y'all to follow me. So that ice age lasted thousands of years ago. Now, Dr. Clyde Anderson and many other historians, they say that there have been multiple migrations throughout the years of the Bering Strait Bridge. There's been multiple migrations of several different people. Let's look at this other image right here. As you can see here, where now I wanted you guys to see this picture because you can see it's connected to Russia and Mongolia. This is Siberia, where they say the natives originally came from. You can see Russia right here. This is the Bering Straits that lead to Alaska, and then that would lead to Canada and then North America and all of that. So the theory is that some people actually stayed in Alaska, which is why you have Alaskan natives. Some people went to Canada and then they migrated further down all the way to the bottom of the quote unquote Americas. All right. Now, when you look at the evidence that we have here, you'll see all of the earliest bones and all of the earliest scientific evidence indicates that the people who were here first were actually Negroid people. Let's play this clip. Okay, we're not just making the claim about quote unquote being native, even though that claim it speaks in and of itself, but we also have scientific evidence verifying indigenous black roots. All right,
that to me is a Negroid face that has all the features that you associate with a Negroid face. The proportions of the face, it doesn't say anything about it being Mongoloid.
He says the proportions of the face doesn't say it of anything it being a Mongoloid. Now, when you look at this, what they think and what they figure is that they came from Mongolia, as you can see in the bottom, to Siberia, and then they crossed the Bering Straits. So if the earliest skeleton who was here, then they can't find a skeleton that's older than that skeleton right there. If the oldest skeleton is not Mongolian, that means that there were black people here first, because there were several migrations across the Bering Straits. Either it's true or not true. Let's get back to the video. Okay, I'm gonna skip past the spinning globe right there.
In East Africa, in the islands of South Asia, and in Australia and Melanesia. Was this then the face of a first American? Her reconstruction is confirmed by measurements Walter Nevis has taken of all his skulls.
The first reaction was not to believe in it, but as the results, repeated so many times, and the result is exactly the same thing. They are very similar to nowadays Aborigines and Africans, and no similarity at all with Mongoloids in Asia or with American Indians.
Oh, no similarity at all with American Indians, and that's interesting. So when you look at, and there was several different groups of people, okay, and the migrations, the multiple migrations of people that would come to this land. This is true. This is history. The multiple migrations would go down. They would create their own civilizations. They would create their own cultures, their own societies. Some would stay in Alaska. Some would stay in the colder regions, and then they would be referred to as, the Eskimos and stuff like that. Some people would go further down past what was known as North America today, further down towards Brazil, further down towards the Caribbean. So there were black people all over the place, okay? That's where you have the Olmecs. That's where you have the Aztecs. That's where you have the Mayans. That's where you have all of these people, because these are all native, but these are all different native people. Now, I'm not here to make the claim that the people who are claiming to be native, the Mongoloid natives, were not native, but their claim is that there was absolutely no black presence at all. This is what this guy is claiming. Remember,
You guys, they're saying
this is what he claims, that it was absolutely, why is it
from
no black people here whatsoever, that there was no black people here. Now, it is very interesting, because when you look at some of the earliest statues, when you look at the statues from the Aztecs, and you see the features of black people. Now, mind you, they claim that there was absolutely no black people. They claim that they had no black connection. Okay. And you see the very wide, broad nose that is typical among black people. You see the very full lips that is typical among black people. These are the Aztecs. And then you have the Olmec statues, multiple Olmec statues with very black features, the full lips and a broad nose and everything, which is very interesting considering the fact that they claim that there was absolutely no black presence. So what they argue is that a whole bunch of really Asians came over here and they had no black presence. They were not black whatsoever. And they came to America and started sculpting statues out of stone of people that didn't look like them, of people they claim they've never seen before. That's what they claim. That's what they claim. They've claimed that just randomly they created pretty much all of the ancient statues. Now, mind you, there's a lot of black people. Just keep this in mind. There's a lot of black people who, you know, just because you're a black don't mean you have to have full lips. There's black people who don't have full lips. There's black people who don't have a very broad nose. That's true. There's black people who have slanted eyes and they're not mixed necessarily. So we have many different features. There's black people who have very, very coily, kinky hair, and there's black people who have more less coily hair, so to speak. All right. So we come in very different shades and sizes, but there is a common phenotype that we have. And the common phenotype that you see in the statues do not look like this guy. This guy is here to tell you that these were his ancestors, not ours. Oh, no, they're not our ancestors. They were his. Okay. All right. Okay. Sure, that sounds like I'm white and I say so. So when we acknowledge that, it's a whole bunch of people like, y'all just hate Africa. Y'all hate Africa. No, we don't hate Africa, but we love ourselves. And now we're learning more about ourselves. We're learning more about just how people got here in the first place. And we're thinking, okay, well, there was all these people crossing the Bering Straits, and this is how they say everybody got here. And all of the evidence of people who are here first look like black folk, but none of them were black. Okay, that's very interesting. So we're learning more about ourselves, and we're sitting up there putting two to two together. We're like, nah, that don't make sense. It only makes sense that we were here before. There has to be some black people who were here before. Now, this is not me saying that there were not Mongoloid people who were here as natives or who are indigenous before Christopher Columbus, because that would count as being indigenous before Christopher Columbus and the 1400s. All right. I'm not saying that they weren't here, but they weren't the only people here. And we have to start thinking and being mature enough to realize there are multiple ways that the quote unquote black people here today could have gotten here. They're not just here through one reason, through one means. All right. There are multiple ways. The Europeans who came here said these people were dark skinned, got coily hair, copper skin, all of that. So all of that, you just hate Africa. No. And we're starting to understand who we are now. And this is why we're starting to, and when you understand yourself, you understand the language that we use is very important too. So now that we're learning more about our culture and we're learning more about ourselves, and we're learning to use language that empowers us and not language that was given to us, that's a very different thing, which is why you see foundational Black Americans who we used to be all like, especially during, the Pan-African movement. Oh, we're from Africa. We're from Africa. We're from Africa. And you had people like Dr. Claude Anderson saying, no, we're not. And now that we're starting to separate ourselves from using that term, Dr. Claude Anderson, let me pull up this other clip. He's been giving us game even about naming ourselves for the longest time. All right. He's been giving us that information about that for a minute. Okay. Hold on. Okay, it's taking a little time to load up. But as we do that, let me give you guys the problem with that. Pulling up this clip. I saw this clip and I got to mute it because it has a copyright strike thing to it. Or it has music. So I saw this clip. I cut this clip up and I posted this clip. Let me make sure it's muted. All right. So this is a man. He says, told them I'm African American. Okay. Moving over. And then it says, so, and then in the next slide, they say, so you don't know your heritage, which is what people tell us. And this is a gaslighting tactic that they've been using to exploit us for the longest time. Oh, if you don't know your heritage. If you African American, you don't really know where you come from. If you African American, your people weren't here. Your people were stolen. Your people were brought here. All of them. None of y'all are really native. Okay. And then you go on and you see. Oh, there's the music. No, we're not doing that now. And then in the next page, he says, Holy Airball. This dude is Nigerian. He's Nigerian, claiming to be an African American because he is from Africa and he is American. And we start disassociating ourselves. This is why the delineation in the disassociating ourselves with that term is very important. You know who else were claiming to be African American when it conveniently suits them? This is why making sure that we use specific terms to our lineage is very important. It's very, very important. All right. Remember this clip.
I just say that I agree that virtue signaling.
White power, we need to keep our nation white. They're immediately ostracized and labeled the very racism they cry about. You guys can gather together and say black lives.
Oh, wait, come on, play it.
We'll also call it out. Here's the other thing I want to say. Everyone's flipping out over Shiloh Hendricks is saying the N-word.
Can I respond to the point you just made, though?
No, hold on. Nobody flipped out like this when the United States was.
Let me see. Oh, no, that wasn't the clip. Myron got so many damn clips up here. Peers. All right, there we go. Okay, there it is. This is the
live
clip.
in a society where
practices and tactics that do harm to other people. A Black Power movement was about opening. I pretend that these are opposite sides, just like these GoFundMe and calling me.
Feel like it. You've had a bit of time to think about this. Is that how you want people to leave this?
Children to have to support, and I don't want to live in a country.
Say
you
the
will
N-
not.
Go on, say the N-word. Go on.
Call me the N-word. That's basically what it's with a Jewish person and say, please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jew. It's ridiculous. I'm on the left here and ask her to say the N-word. Please don't invite her for ratings to.
It's the beginning of time. So the thing is that people have been a response to it. You have a bigger problem. It's what I said.
As offensive, particularly someone who doesn't identify as a member of that community.
Remember, he says he don't identify as a member of that community. It took me a minute because the clip was on. It took me a minute. This is where Myron refers to himself as an African American. Myron Gaines, Amru Foodie.
Who is not, right? I think that's incredibly.
I'm the definition of African American. I'm the definition of African American.
He's the definition of an African American, just like this dude. Just like the Nigerian man. Oh, I'm the definition of an African American.
And troublesome. And to as a Sudanese American or an outsider who's using African American, a very technical term, the same way that Elon Musk is an African American, I think it is a bit disingenuous. But
see, and this is why this is another part of how we are empowering ourselves, because by identifying with something different than that, it makes us more powerful. Now, another thing I want to add. This is not me saying that slavery and there were no Africans brought to America. I don't believe that that's true. I do believe that there were enslaved Africans brought to the Americas, okay? Mainly South America, but there were brought to North America. But we have been here on this land. If they say what is correct, if they say what is they say, we've been here since 1619. We have been, as foundational Black Americans, here on this land for far too long not to have any indigenous history at all. Now, if we say we have some white ancestors, nobody denies that because we're a mix of a lot of different things. All right. So if we say we have some white in our ancestry, nobody denies that. But when we say we have some native in our ancestry, people are like, oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't, you Negro. No, you don't. Let me give y'all an example. Our brother, do y'all know who this man is? This man right here, Crispus Attucks, who they claim was half black and half Native American. All right? He was half black and half Native American in the early 1700s. So that means in the early 1700s, before America was America, at that time, at least there were black people and Native people mixing together. We are a mix of a lot of different things. First off, there were Native people here. And then those Native people also were enslaved and bred with the Africans that were brought here. And then you have some European admixture in that too. Okay, so we're a mix of everything. And the argument that we can't claim this land, that people try to, you don't know where you're from. You don't know where you're from. No, we do. We do. And we're learning that about ourselves now. And we're learning the dangers of sitting up here calling ourselves African American, because that puts us in a box with everybody else who can technically fit that description, like Myron Gaines, like that Nigerian dude, like Elon Musk. All of these people can technically fit in this box. All right. This is another damaging thing that Obama had did to the people, to our people. All right. Going back, taking this away, we're going to do a little bit more history, y'all. A little bit more. Look at what, get this off the screen with these ugly folks. Okay. Lord, y'all going to blind me. This is Obama. Okay. This is Obama, y'all. It says Obama signs bill eliminating, quote, Negro. Okay. He eliminated that from the census. Let's go into it. All right. Now it starts to say, in the 1790s, the U.S. Census counted people by lumping them into one of three categories: slaves, free white females and males, and all other free persons. By 1980, the categories had gone through nearly 20 deviations. People could identify as one of 15 possibilities, including now derogatory words such as Negro. Okay, so they're saying that Negro is derogatory. We're going to skip down. It says after it was anonymously passed with a 380 vote, President Barack Obama signed H.R. 4238 on Friday, which amends two federal acts from the 70s that defines, quote, minorities with terms that are insensitive or outdated. It says the Department of Energy Act which was the H.R. 4238. Okay, that's the Department of Energy Act, has for decades described, quote, minorities as, quote, a Negro, Puerto Rican, American Indian, Eskimo, Oriental, or Aleut, I don't know how to pronounce that, or Spanish-speaking individual or Spanish descent. It says the new bill changes the language to Asian American, Native Hawaiian, a Pacific Islander, African American, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, a Native American, or Alaskan Native. There are other similar language in the Local Public Works Capital Development and Investment Act. Okay, so Obama went above and he said, okay, I'm going to scratch Negro out, and it's going to be African American on people's documentations. What this has allowed a lot of tethers to do is allowed them, such as Myron Gaines and stuff, they get to now double dip. So they get to also claim to be foreigners, and they get to get a bunch of immigration benefits that Obama set up for them, and any type of set-asides or programs or anything for quote-unquote African Americans, they get to apply to as well too. It creates a term that's very ambiguous and broad, and that is not lineage specific. Even Negro, which has a much deeper historical meaning, Negro that has that, which was used in several documentations, were erased. So the erasure and the broadening of our language has created much harm. Now that we're doing the reverse of that, now you're seeing us make a lot of progress. We're making a lot of progress, y'all. Now, let me say this for the sake of the argument. All right. A lot of people say, Black folk, y'all can't agree on what to call yourselves. You can't agree. We can't agree on anything. We can't agree on what to call ourselves. Listen, there's a history to why we're called a lot of different things. It's a history to it. to me, as far as the movement has to make sense. The movement has to be continuous. The movement has to not have a lot of holes and loopholes and flaws in it and everything. It has to stand on its own ground. We've been called many different things while us as foundational Black American people have been here. So it is appropriate for us to reclaim all of the things that we were identified as, because we have a significant history being identified as all of these things. Now, I feel the most distinct term that best distinguishes our lineage from everybody else is foundational Black American. That's the one the term I use primarily. Okay, that is the term that is becoming more vocalized. Okay, you have other people who like to use the term freedmen because that was a legal status that was given to freed enslaved Black people. Okay, there is precedent for that. Now, we can have our preferences about that, but if somebody wants to use the term freedman, that's fine. That's appropriate because there were no other freedmen here on this land besides us, because we were the only slaves on this land. So if you want to use the term freedman, which you has legal precedent, you can use that. Some people want to just use the term Black American because we're Black and we're American. We're really the only really Americans, if we're going to be honest, because it was our slave labor that was the foundation that created it in the first place. We were birthed from the soil. Our blood, sweat, and tears actually built the nation. There is nobody more American than we are. All right. Do you understand this? So if we want to use the term, there are people who use the term Black American in more of a social context, because that's generally understood. That can be appropriate too. I'm not saying we should abandon that. There's people even on TikTok who like to use the term Sulani. As long as, to me, because at a certain point we can argue over semantics between ourselves, or we can debate and have discourse over the semantics or whatever the primary term we refer to ourselves as. We can do that, but I'm not here to cast aside other terms or other people's preferences for other terms. That's fine, as long as we can agree that whatever term we use is lineage specific. That's all we need to agree on. Okay, some people use Native Indian. Some people say I'm an American Indian. There's proof. Come on now. There's legitimate proof that you can make that claim. You can make that claim. People talk about, well, what's your DNA? What's your DNA? First off, DNA evidence and that stuff, that hasn't been around that long. And it wasn't around during the time where they were kicking Black people out of the tribes. So if you want to use that term, you can. You can use the terms synonymously. You can use the terms interchangeably. Whatever term you prefer to use for a specific setting. I do believe, this is my preference though, I do believe there are certain terms that probably fit better for certain settings though. You know, there are probably certain terms, you know, if we want to go back to a historical place or whatever, and talk about maybe our history in Jim Crow and stuff like that, maybe freedman might be a good term because there was the Freedmen's Bureau, the Freedmen's Bank and stuff like that. So that term might fit a little bit better than American Indian. You know what I'm saying? It might fit the picture a little bit better. If you want to use the term nowadays, you can use the term foundational Black American because that fits better. So it's depending on the situation and the context. But there's no need to really argue as long as we can focus on the lineage. And because we're focusing on the lineage so much, it's causing us to not be afraid and stop all this Black and brown stuff, because we realize this land really belongs to us. So all of the former Black and brown coalitions that we were going through and the whole kumbaya stuff that we were going through, that's over with now. It's over with. So now what you're seeing is the Hispanics sitting out there fighting for their own cause, which I don't even agree that they should be fighting for, by themselves. Do you understand me? Family, do you understand? This is why we're here. Do y'all feel me? This is why we're on the couch. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So now you got people sitting up there trying to talk about we should be out there fighting for them. No, we've reclaimed something. We've awakened. Okay, we've had a cultural awakening now. So now when you see Black people who most of them have foreign backgrounds, to be honest. When you see them talking about some black and brown coalition, we like, we say, no, hold on. When you see that stuff, you're like, no, look at this clip. Hold on, look at this.
I'm not falling for is this, and the propaganda.
First of all, peep the. Look, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna let the chat room say it. That's how I know. I know y'all be on it because I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna just let the chat room say it. I'm gonna let the chat room say it. Y'all let me know when y'all see it. Y'all let me know when y'all see it.
And the propaganda that I'm not falling for is this ahistorical belief that black people have always done like political revolution without other groups. Like we don't believe in a coalition.
Do y'all see it? Come on, somebody in the chat room, tell me when y'all see it. Somebody in the chat room, tell me when y'all see it now. I know you do.
Politics, and that is not historically true. That is what happens at every juncture for civil rights for black.
Exact. Thank you. Here goes the septum ring. That's the septum ring up in there, and you all. First off, septum ring piercing people, they all come in a group. There's like a septum ring culture, and they pretty much all talk the same. Pretty much all have the same ideologies and all of that stuff. And liberal, it's always that. Okay, her hairline does start in the middle of her forehead. It does. I mean, I don't know why, but the light is glistening off her forehead. It is glistening, and she got a septum ring. Come on, and you got big glasses too, ma'am. That is too much reflection. That is too much reflection. The light is pretty much from her cell phone, and it's lighting up the whole room. That is too much reflection. But let's go back. Let's hear what she has to say.
And the propaganda that I'm not falling for is this ahistorical belief that black people have always done like political revolution without other groups. Like we don't believe in a coalitional politics, and that is not historically true. That is what happens at every juncture for civil rights for black people. Like y'all are talking about, like Latino people like have never done anything for black people. Like why would we do things for them? Like this xenophobic ass rhetoric. Whole time, first of all, Afro Latinos don't exist anymore. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Second,
and we know that Afro Latinos exist. We know that. We ain't gonna get them a pass because they Afro Latino because their skin is dark. No, and I'm gonna be on it. Can I be honest? Y'all? Can I be honest? We gotta say it. We have to say it. It's not nice, but it's got to be said. Too many, not all. I know there's gonna be, but not me. I'm not like that. Too many of the Afro Latinos. Do y'all really identify as Afro Latino? That's my question. While we want to talk about, there's a lot of Afro Latinos. Y'all be sitting up there picking and choosing when y'all want to be Afro Latino, okay? Because y'all be quick to be on some. I'm not black. I'm Latina. We be forcing y'all to admit the fact that y'all Afro Latina. Y'all, it's a lot. Let's come on now, tell the truth and shame the devil. That's what we gonna do tonight. It's a whole bunch of me no black, I know black. Come on now, and it's a whole running joke because a lot of that, especially from the Dominican Republic, especially from y'all. But a whole lot of Afro Latinos, they skin be dark and everything, and they'll say when you ask them how they identify, they'll just say Latino. They will not say Afro. They will not. You have to damn near make them. They be all like, I guess I'm a black Latino. They do not like saying that. So when you talk about there's a lot of Afro Latinos on there, do they say that? And the reason why I'm saying do they say that is because of the fact that you're trying to make this distinction as if their relationship with us is different from the white Hispanics or the white Latinos or the non-black Latinos. Okay? The black Latinos and the non-black Latinos, if the black Latinos want to be the non-black Latinos, how is their relationship with us any different? That's my question. Because they sit up there trying to be as non-black or non-Afrocentric as possible. All right? They don't like to be black. Not that doesn't make them black, because you black regardless if you like to be black or not. But the thing is that if you don't like to be black, that's going to reflect on your relationship with the rest of black society. So what you want to sit up there and we sit up there, you want us to protest for some Afro Latinos as if we can exclusively protest for the Afro Latinos, but you want us to protest on behalf of some Afro Latino solidarity when the Afro Latinos don't show solidarity with us because they don't want to be us. They don't want to be black. And I'm not saying, oh, there's a couple of them cool. But before we lump them all in a group and say we're fighting for them, hold on. We need to have a conversation with the Afro-Latinos themselves as well. Let's go back. Let's continue.
About that's not true. Have y'all ever heard of the Brown Berets? Like, it's just
the Brown Berets, and this is why we have to know history. The Brown Berets were sitting up there and they were fighting. It was a small group of Hispanics who were doing that amongst the civil rights movement, who were fighting on their behalf. That's when the civil rights was about the black and the brown coalition and all of that stuff. They were not sitting up there. Hispanics have never fought on behalf of something that was not beneficial to the Hispanic community. Okay, because other times when they're fighting on behalf, when it's just black folk, they will sit up there and blatantly tell us, hey, let the Negro fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him. And then when there's a second that they can benefit from something, they talk about black and brown lives matter, black and brown lives matter. And then they can leapfrog the conversation away from, or steer the conversation rather, away from police brutality. And then they can talk about immigration, quote unquote, rights, immigration rights. All right. So we're not going to sit up here, and what we do way too often is we give way too much credit to these other groups of people for our victory. We are no longer going to give these people stolen valor or allow them to take that. No.
It's just like, it's like at every turn to avoid any sense of like accountability toward a better future for us all, you all also reveal to us all that you don't read. You don't read and you're not a student, and therefore, but somehow believe that you should speak for what we should be doing during this moment. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. We need to support Latino people. Also, this idea that black people are also not going to be victims of ICE as well. Do you know how many immigrants are black? Like, do you think like this whole like, oh, we're not going to get involved? Like, to me, that's giving, oh, we're just going to wait our turn. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? And like, you know, after the election, I said, you know, like, I think it's fine for us, some of us, to take some time to reorient ourselves or whatever, but to just ignore what's going on, to act like it's not happening, to act like we shouldn't care, that's fucking bananas. Bananas. Okay. And it's so short-sighted. It's so short-sighted. And y'all want to be petty or whatever and be spiteful or whatever. That imperial boomerang is coming for us all every single day. Every single day.
All of that, we next, we gonna be next, we gonna be next. No. And this fear mongering, like, come on, no. All of this fear mongering is over with. That's stopping. We gonna stop that. We gonna stop that real quick. Let's pull up this other clip because they out here talking about some, and this is people, most of the people caping for this come from immigrant backgrounds. Let's be honest. Most of the people caping for them come from immigrant backgrounds. They first or second generation immigrants. Look at this. Or they got a Hispanic little boyfriend or girlfriend or something like that. All right, look at this one.
Cronies are a threat to our democracy. Let
me take it back.
Donald Trump and his MAGA cronies are a threat to our democracy. They are a threat to the republic. In response to the ICE raids in Southern California, I've seen a lot of people say that Black people, this is not our fight. And I'm here to tell you that that is factually incorrect. My name is Sidoni. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago, and I have lived in...
You was born in Trinidad. What did I tell you? You was born in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, according to Dr. Claude Anderson, 92% of Black people here are FBA, are Foundational Black American. Okay? Even if we want to say that video was from years ago, so it's probably a little, even if the percentage is a little bit different, we can at least, and I'm being so generous, and say about 85% of all black people in America, which was what, 42, 43 million black folk in America, are foundational black American. And I'm gonna be very honest with y'all, most of the black immigrants didn't come here illegally. Most of y'all, hold on. Then now let's be honest. Biden didn't let y'all come over here illegally until he started letting the Hispanics come over illegally. Remember when Haitians started to come here? When Haitians started to come here, before the Hispanics did, and remember what was happening to Haitians. Okay. While y'all want to sit up there and talk about immigrant rights and stuff like that, remember this image. Show it to you guys real quick. This is what was happening. Biden wasn't allowing y'all to come over here like that. And I want to ask this question, or I want to highlight this point. Now, when Haitians was going through it, you didn't see all of these Hispanics talk about no black and brown and immigration rights. Huh? Hold on. Wait. Pause. Mic drop. Hold on. All of the Hispanics that are talking about this is nobody's illegal on stolen land. Nobody's illegal on stolen land, and America took this land. Hold on, when thousands, they was getting whipped by white men with horses. This looked like 12 Years a Slave. This looked like a slave movie. And all of the Hispanics who are talking about, well, the border is so unfair. And we be talking about, oh, it's so unfair. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. You ain't said nothing. Okay. But now that the white Hispanics, because let's be honest, they're white Hispanics. Now that the white Hispanics are getting it, now people want to make videos. But okay. But let's get back to it. Why you want to talk about it was a black issue, and it's interesting because you a black immigrant, but when black immigrants was going through it, you wasn't saying nothing. But now when white Hispanics are going through it, now you want to say something. All right, okay.
In the United States since I was a baby. I will tell natural born citizens something that you don't really think about, but it takes forever to become a United States citizen. I came here before I have memories, and I did not become a United States citizen until I was 17 years old. I was a senior in high school. I had lived my entire life in New York City. I didn't know anywhere else. I had no memories of anywhere else. But the place that I considered home did not consider me one of them until I was 17 years old. ICE is not just looking for Latino immigrants, okay? ICE will make their way into Flatbush, and they will pick up Caribbean people. ICE will make their way into Harlem, into the Bronx, into these majority ethnic communities, and they will take whoever doesn't look the part as a US citizen.
No, they won't. We have not seen that. We've not seen that. And you don't need to worry about it. You a citizen, according to you, what you just said.
Our country is rapidly shifting into a fascist state. So to sit down and say, oh, it's not my problem because it doesn't directly affect me is not a smart thing to be doing. Because I'll tell you this, the 14th Amendment is exactly that, an amendment. It can be changed. What we are seeing right now, the hunting of particular ethnic groups, the detainment, the mass collection, it looks very, very familiar to something else that I've seen in world history.
And here's the thing, as you sitting up there talking about this and trying to get us to pull our heartstrings, Hispanics are sitting up there bragging about how pretty much they run everything. And they the main characters. This is the Hispanics sitting up there bragging about it. Look at this, y'all. Oh, yep, there we go.
We do not move to America because we think it's a better country. We move here because it's a little less worse than our other countries. Because you're stupid to think that we moved to this country for some hot dogs and some baseball. We have better vibes, music, food, culture, history, literally all of the above. We just moved here because we are looking to make more money and offer a better chance for our families. Did you know that the minimum wage a day, not an hour, a day in Mexico is not even 15 American dollars? Not even 15 American dollars. Right now with $15 in San Diego, I could go maybe buy a matcha and half of a granola bar, honey. If you support ICE, you support people getting destroyed. If you support families getting destroyed, I hope you rot in hell. And I will see you there, babes.
Okay. And all of this, we come here when we bought food and we bought this and we bought that. They know. Yo, they come in here just straight off looking for opportunities. They come off here literally bragging about the fact that they ripping America off. Let me pull this clip up. They are bragging about the fact that they get to come here and rip America off, about how lenient the laws are for them and how they're exploiting it. Hold on. They're exploiting the law. Look at this. And I got
me want to say thank you to you for deportation.
Okay. It says right here, I got deported, but it's just a vacation. I'll be back in a week.
Trump, me want to say thank you to you for deportation me to Mexico and give me 1 week's vacation. My boss never give me. Thank you for deportation me back to my country. 1 week I be back in US. Okay.
Okay. He said he's going to be deported, and now he got a coyote taking him back. Okay. Yep. Now you see he's on his way back to America. He's been smuggled back in, and he's recording all of this like a damn idiot, like a dumb. He's recording all of this. He's recording him breaking into the country and bragging about it. This man is sitting up there breaking federal law and bragging about it. While he's sitting up there, if you guys support ICE, go to hell. You guys have no humanity. You guys, this is what they doing. So yeah, hell yeah, ICE, come get them. Because they would shoot us if we was to do this in their country. Because first off, it makes their country look weak and vulnerable. And it disrespects their country. So they would never allow that to happen in their country. No, they wouldn't. They would never allow such a thing to happen in their country, ever. They sit up there bragging, brothers and sisters, about breaking into America. And they want us to fight for the fact that ICE is putting their foot down and making them get out? No. The way I see it, ICE need to move a little bit faster. While you sit up there, well, you don't have a heart. Oh, and this is what y'all say. Now y'all ain't gonna acknowledge him. Y'all not gonna acknowledge him, right? And folk like him, no. Oh, you want to talk about we don't have a heart? Please get out of here. There's no black and brown coalition either. Y'all have been racist and attacking black people that ever since y'all can't stop doing it. Y'all cannot stop attacking black people. Y'all cannot stop being racist to black people. Y'all cannot stop victimizing black people. Y'all hate black people. Many of you guys do. Okay? Y'all systematically, y'all come here with the agenda of replacing black people. And let me show y'all another clip. Because we got the receipts, y'all. We got a lot of receipts. Look at this.
Houston Community College is facing a $100 million lawsuit. Hundreds of African-American employees, both past and present, say they faced racial discrimination while working at HCC. Channel 2's Roseanne Aragon is live tonight with a closer look at what this new lawsuit claims. Roseanne?
We've been replaced. Okay? This is what these people are coming here to do. Okay, they're coming here really to replace us as foundational Black Americans. These people being here is a threat to the country, but more of a threat to us. And we should not be sitting up here playing and making it seem like this is some type of joke we can take lightly. We can't do that. We cannot do that. They are here and they are subjugating and replacing us, harming us in every way possible.
This lawsuit was intentionally filed today. The plaintiff tells us she represents many. Houston Community College slapped with a $100 million racial discrimination lawsuit filed on none other than the Juneteenth holiday. At the center of the case is Zelia Brown, a former employee who says she and others have been racially targeted by HCC leadership. The suit also reveals an email chain from Chancellor Cesar Maldonado, which states now we Hispanics are going to receive preferential treatment.
This is a pattern. That's what is something.
Now we Hispanics are going to receive preferential treatment. And we can all go to hell for not vouching for immigration. Are you serious? And they gaslight us and make us seem like we the villains for not vouching for them to come in this country illegally.
That is methodically and deliberately done to ostracize that individual.
The suit names Maldonado, HR Director Janet May, and Board of Trustees member Adriana Thomas, claiming they worked intentionally on a, quote, well-developed, systematic, entrenched, and wildly successful campaign of race and sex discrimination against top-level Black employees, stating that 90% of the longtime Black professionals at HCC have either been terminated or demoted, while there has been a 50% increase in Hispanic hires and promotions.
Whether it is demoting them by pay, placing them in a lower level position, creating schemes.
Brown says it happened to her. In 2016, she was hired to advise on grant use and compliance. In 2018, when she found what she believes was a clear pattern of misused funds and spoke up.
Every avenue that I would go down, they would present an obstacle.
But the lawsuit cites other alleged tactics, including padding Black employee personnel files with false complaints. For Brown,
they just immediately placed me on administrative leave.
In March, she resigned, and
there have been dozens, as I've said, that have come forward.
HCC says they have not been served yet, so at this hour, they do not have a response. For now, Roseanne Aragon, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Roseanne, thank you.
Now, these are the people that they say we need to be fighting for and vouching for and marching for. This is what they say. This is who we need to be fighting for, our enemies, because that's how they act. They act like our enemies. They don't come here and act like no allies. All of this Black and brown coalition stuff is fake. That stuff is fake. They don't act like no allies to us. So as they sit up there getting rounded up and they getting deported, yeah, they can go. They can go. ICE, you need to move a little bit faster, man. You need to move a little bit faster. I ain't mad at what you're doing. I understand. It takes some time, but I'm not mad. Here's some more proof that they come here to subjugate us, and they team up to replace us. And it's only us. It's not nobody else. It's not non-Hispanics. There is a specific and unique target for foundational Black Americans. Look at this clip. Let me pull it up real quick. Here it is.
I'm a Black man. I own a company. I hire a Latino.
Come on, don't do that.
The Latino comes back and complain about the African Americans because the Latino thinks because I'm African, I don't have any relationship with the African American. The Latino comes to me and tell me that you are an immigrant. I'm an immigrant. That African American cannot work. I have Jose, I have Gonzalez, my brothers who know how to work very well. You need to fire the African Americans, and I will bring a lot of hardworking Latinos who work for your company. This is my company as a Black man. My company. I was a contractor at Quantico Marine Base in Virginia. A contractor for General Electrics. And the Latino workers that I hired, They are snitching on the African-American workers that are hired for me to fire the African-Americans so they can bring Latinos to take their place. Who are working in my company. I'm a black man. I own a company. I hire a Latino. The Latino comes back and complain about the African-Americans.
Do you see that? Do you see what's going on? They will literally go to HR on some Karen nonsense and be all like, hey man, if you get rid of the black Americans, I can bring more of my people in here. They look at us as their enemy. Okay, there is no black and brown coalition. These people are rivals. And the thing is that for the longest time, we haven't been seeing that. We've been fighting for their right to sit up here and circumvent the law, and they've been trying to systematically replace us. So all of this black and brown stuff is over with. And all of the people who vouch for them, I'm going to say either agents are way off code. Okay. Y'all got to watch out for these people who speak on black rights who just pop up out all of a sudden. Do y'all remember the Fifth Dimension man? Do you guys remember the Fifth Dimension guy? Well, he's back. The Fifth Dimension man, it's back. He's returned. He's returned talking about the black and brown coalition. Let's go into the Fifth Dimension. Here we go.
So I understand we have a lot going on right now.
Oh, it's time to go into the Fifth Dimension. Everybody get your pens and paper. Okay, we're about to have a breakdown about the quote-unquote black and brown alliance here. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
But I want to talk about the Black Latino fracture and why unity still looks possible, and what are some of the reasons for why we don't have unity, and what are some of the reasons we can't have, because I've seen a lot of reactionary takes to this. I want to have a more comprehensive conversation. So we were both wounded by the same empire, but trained to speak different languages about pain. Both groups are products of colonial exploitation, period. African chattel slavery and indigenous Latino caste subjugation. At the bottom of it is colonial exploitation, but the recognition is fractured. Afro-Latinos are often erased or split between categories, and black Americans may view Latinos through the lens of economic competition, while Latinos view black people through media-fueled criminal stereotypes.
We may view them as economic competition. So they not coming here doing that. So they not coming here doing that. This is why I played those two clips before. This is why I played those two clips before, because everybody all like, well, they're not taking our jobs. They're not taking our jobs. Okay, there's a huge $100 million lawsuit for the fact that they are taking black people's jobs. Okay. Not only that, you got not just the new Negroes, you got the old Negroes, the Jesse Jacksons and the Jamal Bryants on the rainbow push for illegals. Look at this. We're just going to go into this real quick.
I understand the boycott against Target, against DEI, yes. But why is the Rainbow Push Coalition supporting illegal aliens if illegal aliens disproportionately affect the black community jobs?
Now you got Jesse Jackson and you got Reverend or Pastor Jamal Bryant sitting up there talking about, first it was DEI, now they sitting up there caping for illegals who are literally here as enemies and opposition to black folk. Look at what they say.
Say it one more time. Why is the Rainbow Push Coalition supporting illegal aliens when illegal aliens disproportionately negatively affect the black community?
That's not true.
It is true. They take jobs, right? But they take your jobs. Legal.
Let me offer.
Nothing.
Thank you so much for coming out today.
That doesn't. And this is why, first off, all illegal immigration, not just in America, illegal immigration in general is bad for an economy. Illegal immigration in general is bad for an economy, which is why the world doesn't allow that to happen. The world doesn't allow anybody to just come up in their country illegally. No, there's a legal process. First off, it's unsafe, number one. Number two, it's bad for the economy, and it's especially bad for black America. And here you got Jesse Jackson and them on the Rainbow Push Coalition fighting for their rights. Now, I ain't seen them fight for the rights for reparations, but they're gonna fight for their rights to replace us.
Make any sense to me.
This is the Rainbow Push annual conference.
I mean, if you want to support
People's Conference
black
of
jobs,
action.
you don't support illegal aliens coming in and
started this morning
undercutting
with the
black jobs. It doesn't make sense, though, right?
I
mean,
we got playing fields.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
So, the comedian, Christian comedian.
Excuse me.
You see that? Don't make sense. Now let's go back to this. As he's sitting up there trying to make it seem like this is some type of false narrative. I want y'all to understand, every time we call out the Hispanics and their racism, every time we call that out, you got people making it seem like this is a false narrative. Actually, before we do, let me acknowledge, because I even seen that. I've just been cooking since we started. Shout out to Marcus for the super chat. He says, that's like saying because I repainted a car, I built it. That's exactly like saying that. All right. Thank you. Josh says, Mexican cliques with whites in the California prison system and go against blacks. They do all the time. They know they can't see one of us one-to-one. Yeah, they know. I mean, I think they all saw the fight between Ryan Garcia and Tank. After that, they all like, we're going to need some backup. We're going to need some backup. Because these Negroes is too strong. We need some backup. But that's correct. Shout out to Marcus again saying, look at Yakuta, I think it's Yakudai people and Eskimo, then Red Indian. Yeah, all of these natives, do your research on them. But let's get back to this. And shout out for the super chats. All right. Let's get back to the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension.
While Latinos view black people through media-fueled criminal stereotypes. The languages that around grief have diverged as well, because Black America speaks in Jim Crow and in chains, right? About those things. That's really how we talk about our pain. But
okay, keep this in mind, because he's making this comparison. He says Black Americans view our pain and we talk about our history in Jim Crow in chains. Now look at what Hispanics talk about.
Latino America speaks about border patrol and deportation vans.
And like they talk about border patrol and deportation vans. Excuse me, are you comparing that to Jim Crow in chains? The fact that they can't illegally cross into another country and stay there, that there is border controls into America, that's their Jim Crow, that's their chains. The fact that they're chained to their own country, that's their chains. Now we were chained to a plantation and they're chained to a country, and the thing is that they can actually leave the country if they do it the right way. Okay, all right.
Now you might go, what do these things have in common? These are both forms of state-promoted exile.
They're okay. State-promoted exile. We were exiled onto a plantation. They're exiled onto their own country. Talk about state-promoted exile.
That's all they are. They're both forms of exile. But people don't understand that the beef between Black people and Latino people is a state-crafted proximity conflict. I'm going to walk you through how these work, because this is actually how they target groups, because they create a large misunderstanding. There's a general rule about this thing. When two oppressed groups are placed in proximity without power, the state wins every time. We're going to talk about this. Because public housing, underfunded schools, low-wage jobs, the systems force proximity but not solidarity. The police system.
We're gonna have solidarity. They're sitting up there we've been trying to push some damn solidarity, unfortunately. And to our dismay, we've been the ones trying to push some solidarity. They've been the ones denying any solidarity. Talk about it's the state. No, that's the past the hot potato, past the racism hot potato. Like we've all been pent against each other. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not going to make it seem like we've been manipulated to hate each other. We've been the ones talking about we need to fight for them, and they've been the ones saying that our fight is our fight and leave them alone. We want to be white. Their problems are their problems. That's not the state. That's Hispanic-ran organizations.
System of itself promotes this fracture, right? So Latino officers over policing Black neighborhoods.
Listen to this, y'all. Listen to this. Latino officers over policing Black neighborhoods.
Without power, the state wins every time. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this because public housing, underfunded schools, low-wage jobs, the systems force proximity but not solidarity. The police system of itself promotes this fracture, right? So Latino officers over-policing black neighborhoods, black communities underprotected from ICE raids in Latino neighborhoods, and the media.
Hold on. Rewind that. Let's take that back. I don't want to mishear what he had to say. We're going to take it back.
Groups, because they create a large misunderstanding. There's a general rule about this thing. When two oppressed groups are placed in proximity without power, the state wins every time. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this because public housing, underfunded schools, low-wage jobs, the systems force proximity but not solidarity. The police system of itself promotes this fracture, right? So Latino officers over-policing black neighborhoods, black communities underprotected from ICE raids in Latino neighborhoods, and the
black communities underprotected by ICE in Latino neighborhoods. Did he really just say that? He's making this equivalent. He just admitted, yeah, you have Hispanics, racist Hispanics, who police black neighborhoods. Okay, that's our issue with them. And then their issue is that we have black communities that are underprotected from ICE. Even though ICE ain't looking for us, they looking for them. But ICE, we are underprotected. Our community is underprotected when our community is in their community, even though we don't have the same community. So when they're looking for, can somebody look in the fifth dimension? I don't understand how if the math is not mathing here. Okay, see, in the fifth dimension, you guys are stuck in the fourth. You guys are stuck in the fourth. Okay, a lot of you guys stuck in the third, but in the fifth dimension, listen to me. In the fifth dimension, okay, all Hispanics and blacks and brown on the color spectrum, we all work together. So ICE is not ICE, really. They're not agents. They're ice cream trucks. And the ice cream trucks, they come to get black people. Why? Because black people's skin, the melatonin in the skin, that absorbs the sun, which makes the Earth's surface hotter. That is global warming. So the ice cream truck is coming to get us because black people make the world hot. So we hide in the Hispanic community. But the thing is that Hispanic officers, they work for ICE. So the Hispanic officers are snitching on the black people so they can come and grab us, and they are going to put us in giant freezers and echo chambers. We're going to be looking like Han Solo in the second Star Wars movie. Have you guys seen Star Wars? We cannot do this. If you guys have not seen Star Wars, everybody needs to see that movie. Okay, it's going to take you from the third dimension to the fourth. All right. Okay, we have a lot of homework to do because a lot of you guys are looking confused. Too many of you guys are looking confused here. Have you guys, when's the last time you guys have eaten ice cream? Okay, I ate ice cream. First off, in order to get to the fifth dimension, you have to eat ice cream at least once every meal. Okay, that's all I eat. All I eat is ice cream. That's the only thing I eat. Not sherbet, ice cream. I only eat ice cream. It's very bad for me. I'm lactose intolerant, but I have to do it to stay in the fifth dimension. You guys are not on my brain frequency level. Okay. Let's go back to the fifth dimension. All right.
The police system of itself promotes this fracture, right? So Latino officers over-policing black neighborhoods, black communities underprotected from ICE raids in Latino neighborhoods, and the media flames this type of place, right? So we're going to talk about the economic pressures in just a second, but I want people to understand that the media flames this by pitting gangs against each other, ignoring black Latino coalition stories. So even if they do happen, the media not covering it. This is intentional pressure, proximity without.
Why does everybody keep talking about? We need to talk more about the black coalition stories, the black and brown coalition stories. What stories? I mean, just say it. Just say the story. All of this, they're underreporting the black and brown coalition stories. Okay, well, why don't you tell us the black and brown coalition stories? Oh, we don't have time right now. Okay, all right then, sure.
shared power leads to narrative warfare between neighbors every time, right? So peep this, because they only offer one of us the ladder, but only if we step on the other.
No, because this is the whole thing. They're pinning us against each other. No, we've been the ones helping them. They say they offer one of us the ladder if we step on other. We have never done anything to systemically sabotage the Hispanic community. Ever. We've never done that. And that's disrespectful to my ancestors, because my ancestors fighting in the civil rights movement is the only reason any non-white person has anything today. To be honest, a lot of white people benefited from the civil rights movement. Can we tell that truth? A lot of white people benefited from the civil rights movement. So all of this, yeah, there's a ladder, and the only reason that they are fighting us is because we're in competition. No, black people, we have foundational black Americans. We have not been in competition with anybody. We've been trying to help everybody to our dismay, to our sacrifice. We've been pushing everybody ahead of us and allowing everybody else to skip the line. And now we finally stopped doing that.
Right, so this is how that black policing thing happens, because they don't create situations we can get jobs, but give us situations where we could have oppressive powers of the state. Then they go put us in another neighborhood to go oppress another minority. This is literally how they stoke tensions. So here's another case, right?
Notice all of these people, none of these people can tell you how we are oppressing, quote unquote, the Hispanic community. Or anything. Notice they cannot tell us one negative, quote unquote, thing that we do. I'm not talking about one person who might have used the Hispanic slur or whatever the case is. I'm talking about us as a collective coming together to sabotage Hispanics the way we have seen them do for us. A black politician, we got our damn near the politicians that are supposed to be fighting for us. Remember, the politicians supposed to be fighting for us are fighting for them. They politicians don't fight for our behalf, but our politicians are fighting for their behalf. While you want to talk about how we all sabotaging each other, like this is some type of rivalry that we've all been confused into having with each other.
Undocumented labor is used to suppress wages and spark resentment. Meanwhile, black unemployment is treated like a cultural flaw instead of a structural setup. But in reality, both groups are underpaid, overpoliced, and politically commodified, and then told to blame each other instead of the system. Black folks are told that Latinos take their jobs. Latinos are told black folks don't want to work. Neither stereotype is conceptually true at all.
Neither stereotype is true at all. Neither stereotype is true at all. So they're not coming here and undercutting black people, is what you're saying. They're not coming here deliberately trying to undercut black people, is what you're saying. Do we have to pull that clip back up? I think we do. I think we have to pull that clip back up of them trying to do that. Let me pull it back up for you guys real quick. Neither stereotype is true at all. Let's have him play that again. And then we're going to play this clip again, because we're not going to let him get away with that now. Neither stereotype is true at all. No. Hell no. We ain't doing that.
Like a cultural flaw instead of a structural setup. But in reality, both groups are underpaid, overpoliced, and politically commodified, and then told to blame each other instead of the system. Black folks are told that Latinos take their jobs. Latinos are told black folks don't want to work. Neither stereotype is conceptually true at all. Both are narrative weapons handed to us from the state.
Narrative they handed to us from the state. No, we're not gonna do that. So you can sit up there and cape for them. No, because we remember this.
Houston Community College is facing a $100 million lawsuit. Hundreds of African-American employees, both past and present, say they faced racial discrimination while working.
Hundreds, not 1, 2, 3, 4, not tens, hundreds, not 100, hundreds. Okay, multiple hundreds of foundational black Americans are being sabotaged by the people who are, quote unquote, not here to take our jobs.
At HCC. Channel 2's Roseanne Aragon is live tonight with a closer look at what this new lawsuit.
No, so yeah, we're not going to sit up there. You need to all that fifth dimension bullshit. You need to stop.
the media, from the corporations. We see each other, and here's the thing. This is why unity still feels possible. And it's because we see each other's mothers in the same clinic crying about the same shit, the same prayers, in the same spaces. Barbershops, clinics, buses, corners. We got the same enemies. Gentrification, underfunded schools, racist policing, and there's even cultural overlap in music, food, dance, humor. Black and brown youth usually create organic unity. Usually do in subculture. See, here's one of the things. It rarely scales to politics because political infrastructure is not designed for coalitions. It's not designed for unity. It's designed specifically to tokenize separately. That is the goal of political infrastructure. That is the goal. Okay, so that's why the conversation falls on us and why they can't achieve it out in Washington. Here's the thing. We've also had some false starts and failed solidarity in the past. Let's talk about that too. We've marched together, but we've never healed together. So immigration rallies lacked black inclusion and often overlooked Afro-Latino presence. Black Lives Matter movements rarely feature immigration justice as a core demand, but I want to talk about that because it's important to understand how I said that. Okay, and Latino organizations, we've seen them before center whiteness, or black organizations don't necessarily know how to integrate undocumented experiences or indigenous Spanish-speaking populations. And
we don't know how to integrate in undocumented experiences. No. Notice what he's saying, y'all, while they're trying to make it seem like it's an equivalent. Notice he's saying that they're being racist and we're not being inclusive enough as equals. He's saying we both have an issue. Black people are not inclusive enough, and Hispanics are racist against black people and want to be white. So they're doing something bad, and we're not doing something good enough. And that's the equivalent
to their messaging. But
and first off, he needs to sit down and eat an ice cream sandwich because he sounds like he's out of breath.
I want this to be kind of known. Afro-Latino centering is key for this to work. Key. It just can't be a black person talking to a Latino person. We need a person who shares the memory of both of our pains. So that way they can lead where bridges need building. That's the important part. So we need to acknowledge, platform, and uplift their voices, period. Anybody who lives both of those truths, period. If you want this kind of thing, that's what we got to do. So
the Afro-Latinos need to step up and stop sitting up there trying to play this game like they not Afro. I'm going to say that. Like they not black. We can't have the Afro-Latinos be no bridge between black foundational black Americans and Hispanics because the Afro-Latinos don't want to go with the Hispanics. They in the La Raza thing. So no.
Also, we need to teach each other's histories, right? Like Jim Crow and La Migra, we need to talk about this together. Like, right? Now y'all understand we're American citizens, so this La Migra is probably La Migra. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's going to be on the screen. It's important for us to teach our shared histories, right? The other thing is, right, any food co-ops, tenant unions, school councils with both communities co-leading, don't just protest together, build together. That's one of those things that's important because they acting like, a lot of people acting like showing up, whether or not you show up to the protest will create the coalition. No, the coalition is about what we can do together, building wise. The protest is a small part of it. And a lot of a colonial value system where lightness equals status. That is literally what's going on. And then
listen to this. Hold
on.
From
blackness. See, like this is one of those things that makes it so crazy.
Listen, okay. Hold on.
Hispanic is not a race. Ooh, might have cost somebody. It's a colonial category. And within that category, there is a spectrum of power, access, and assimilation based on skin tone, language, nationality, and distance from blackness. See, like this is one of those things that makes it so crazy because people need to understand that that Hispanic originates from Spanish imperial lineage, not indigenous or African ancestry. Whiteness was imported into Latin America through colonial rule, and those closest to Spanish bloodlines were given higher status.
Hold on.
For me, in most cases. But here's some of the other things that I want to talk about. Because I can already hear this now. There's anti-blackness in the Hispanic community, right? Let's talk about this. Let's directly address this. Okay, Hispanic is not a race. Ooh, might have cost somebody. It's a colonial category. And within that category, there is a spectrum of power, access, and assimilation based on skin tone, language, nationality, and distance from blackness. See, like, this is one of those things that makes it so crazy, because people need to understand that that Hispanic originates from Spanish imperial lineage, not indigenous or African ancestry. Whiteness was imported into Latin America through colonial rule, and those closest to Spanish bloodlines were given higher status or caste. Right, so many Latinos unconsciously inherit that colonial value system where lightness equals status. That is literally what's going on. And then in the U.S., whiteness is tied to dominance. So for many U.S.-based Latinos, assimilation usually just means moving closer to white norms to access opportunity. This includes anti-blackness.
Now, this includes anti-blackness. Listen to this.
Which is using slurs, distancing from black identity, colorism, centering white light-skinned Latinas in media, right? Language gatekeeping or mocking non-accented English speakers, and then immigration narratives that upheld the model minority behavior. But here's what I'm trying to say. Cultural behavior is not innocence. Saying it's how we grew up is not an excuse. Inherited bias is still bias. Racism in Latino communities usually comes from generational pressure to be better than black people for survival. Cultural normalization of slurs, jokes, stereotypes doesn't make them less harmful. They're still harmful. It's just more deeply embedded. Anti-blackness is not the same as white supremacy as well.
Did you hear that? And I let this play for the longest time. Anti-blackness is not the same as white supremacy. Oh, that's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. Take me out the fifth dimension. I don't want to be there no more. Anti-blackness is not the same as white supremacy. What is anti-blackness if it's not white supremacy? Anti-blackness is the actual root of white supremacy. That's where white supremacy began. There was no white supremacy. There was, and this is history, y'all. There was no such thing as white before there were black. Black came before white. Okay? So in order for there to be a white, there had to have been a black. White supremacy is the supremacy over what? Women, there are white women. Gays, there are white gays. Poor, there are white poor folk. Black. It is the supremacy over the opposite. That is black. It stems the whole concept of the white race and white people coming together based off of their pale, unmelanated phenotype, and their look is to be anti-black. There is nothing more pure to white supremacy than anti-blackness. But when when he tells it, white supremacy is anti-black, it's anti-trans, it's anti-LGBT, it's anti-Hispanic, it's anti-borders, it's anti-feminism, it's anti-ice cream, it's anti all that stuff. No. With this dude got a widow's peak splitting down his damn forehead in the fifth dimension, and he's reading this. Do you guys know he gets his scripts? He writes the scripts down from AI that's been exposed. It's going viral on TikTok right now. That all he does is he puts a talking point into Chat GPT and they write him down a speech, and he regurgitates the speech. He reads the speech off. He reads it all from the fifth dimension. He does. Looks like a damn Vegeta. He looks Vegeta, like Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, with his damn widow's peak that big. Come on, dude. I'm gonna tell you, and this is why we not caring about none of that stuff. We caring about what we got to handle. We caring about what we got to deal with. We caring about that. That's what we caring about. That's what we working on. That's what we are working on. Let me show y'all, brothers and sisters, what we working on. Let me show y'all what we got going on, okay? Because all of this black and brown coalition stuff, we recognize who we are as foundational black Americans. Shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson. Shout out to Tariq for coining the term foundational black Americans. And like I said, there's some people in the chat room, even y'all use the term foundational black American, FBA. Y'all use the term native black. Y'all use the term freedman. Y'all use different terms that describes our lineage, because they all do add up to our lineage. Our lineage is very deep and extensive, and we've been called multiple things. Y'all use American Negro as long as it's lineage specific and you're referring to our lineage, not no Myron Gaines. I'm cool. All right. And because we've named ourselves and we are recognizing ourselves differently and we're seeing ourselves differently, we have not allowed them, because with the whole immigrants built this nation and we're not native, we're all immigrants. That is to erase our cultural and lineage significance in this land. But when we have embraced our lineage, when we have fought against the lies and the narratives that has been taught to us, that America is this melting pot of different immigrants and everybody came here looking for a better life and we're all immigrants. The second we stop saying that about ourselves, the second we start seeing improvement in the community. Notice how much improvement we've seen within our community the second we stopped saying we're all immigrants. The second we started saying this is our land and we belong here and we belong here more than anybody else, that we're the real Americans in this land. The second we started doing that, notice how much progress we've seen. Notice how far we've come. Now we got people talking about reparations nonstop. People asking us on these little parades and I guess parades, these little events and protests and stuff like that. Where are the FBA? Oh, we're home. We're home. Because we're going to fight for what is ours. We're going to stand up for what is ours. We're going to make sure we get what is ours. We're continuing the work of our ancestors, but we're not doing it the way y'all want us to do it. We're going to continue the fight because the revolution never dies. That's one thing it doesn't do. The revolution doesn't die. It evolves. And we as foundational Black Americans have evolved now. Y'all, let me show you how we've evolved. Have y'all seen this? Shout out to our sister Brooke, okay, advocating for reparations. This is what we talking about. While we talking about how we've evolved, y'all still stuck in a fifth dimension talking about some Black and brown coalition.
For reparations. Nationality and citizenship are loud conversations today, while people are flying, voting, walking, riding into this country in the pursuit of U.S. citizenship. None of these groups share the centuries-long history we have on this land. None of them fought this government and won. None of them are owed a red cent by this nation, but the freedmen are. Freedmen, that's the title this government gave us. Foundational Black American, that's the name we chose for ourselves. We are Americans. How dare you fight for others to be called American, yet refuse to acknowledge who we are and call us by our name? We are foundational Black Americans. We were here before the U.S. was formed, before this was even a destination for immigration. We built this nation. This country wasn't a place that people longed to come to, not at first. Even Europeans didn't want to immigrate here willingly. Many were sent by force, prison, or exile. That was the bargain. They were sent here because this land was not desirable, not until we turned it into something that now the world fights to enter. Call us by our name. We are the freedmen. We are the foundational Black Americans. No disrespect no disrespect to continental Africa or Africans, but how many of them are dying to come to America and become what we already are? Aren't thousands, no, millions of them fighting for American citizenship right now? So again, call us by our name. The refusal to recognize us by the name we chose is giving white racist Cassius Clay Muhammad Ali energy from skinfolk who clearly aren't kinfolk. In today's climate,
thank you, Brooke. We appreciate you. Marjorie, Hannah is next.
Look, she was cooking too much. Our sister was cooking too much. They had to cut the mic. They was all like, okay, damn, okay. See, our microphones is malfunctioning, okay? It's too much heat, all right? It's too much heat. We had to turn the AC on. You got to get out of here. You got to move. You got to move. Can we get the black fist emoji in the chat room for our good beloved sister Brooke, standing up for lineage business, standing up for foundational Black American freedmen? Can we get the black fist emoji in the chat room? See, this is the page that we're on now. My brothers and my sisters, this is the page that we're on now. While y'all sitting up there talking about we need to fight for immigrants and they're coming to get us and all of this stuff. No, we are different now. Okay. The second, I'm telling you guys, the second we said, oh, you know what, all that African-American stuff, Dr. Clyde Anderson actually had it right the whole time. Sometimes And this is just our history, y'all. You learn. And sometimes we can be stubborn and we can learn the hard way, but we've learned the hard way. We've learned the hard way. But one thing I know damn well about us is we gonna get it right. It might not be the first time, okay, but we are going to get it right eventually. And we're not gonna stop until we do. And right now we got it right. That's the point. That's why we're here. We have it right now. Now we do. All right. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you feel where I'm coming from? We have it right now. The second we say, you know what, the African American thing, it's still us. We still are the African Americans. Still, that's still the documented form that we are under. If we're going to be honest, we're still all African American, but culturally, we're going to identify in that's important as something else, because us culturally distinguishing ourselves from the term African American and distancing ourselves from that term African American has culturally shifted and evolved our mind to view ourselves differently. All right. Now we view ourselves differently than the African American. Okay, yeah, on paperwork, okay, fine, sure. But we see ourselves beyond that now. We see ourselves beyond just the quote unquote slaves that came here on the slave plant or on the slave ships and worked the cotton fields and built America. We see ourselves beyond that. We've been taught to overlook everything that we've done in this country. And now we see ourselves, we're resonating with all of our lineage, not just the lineage from slavery, not just the lineage from Jim Crow, but we're resonating with all of it. I'm talking about all the way back to Crispus Attucks. All the way back to Crispus Attucks. And to the civil rights movement and everything we've done up until today. The time is over now for this black and brown stuff. It's never going back because we don't see ourselves as you guys. That's what you guys have been wanting us to see ourselves. We're all immigrants, really. We're all immigrants. And y'all been wanting to tell us that, the Europeans, because the Europeans want us, they want bragging rights like, well, you know, I mean, you could be stuck in Africa. I mean, slavery was kind of bad, I guess. I mean, and they downplay slavery. Slavery was bad, but you could be stuck in Africa, and we really saved you monkeys from Africa. So yeah, slavery, no, we're looking at the whole thing different from start to finish. And when I say from start to finish, I do quite literally mean from start to finish. We're looking at everything. We're looking like, hey, you know what? Why don't them statues? Why them statues kind of look like my grandpa? Well, why them statues kind of look like my grandpa? I got an uncle that looked like that statue on the left over there. What's going on with that? What's going on with that? Why you want to talk about that there was no black people here? Where's your tribe? Where's your tribe? You don't speak the language. You don't speak the language. How can you be native if you don't speak the language? Probably because of slavery. The same slavery that stripped our African language could possibly be the same slavery that stripped our native language. The same, you don't know your tribe. Well, the same slavery that stripped our African tribe is the same slavery that stripped our native tribe. No. I mean, that makes sense. Well, I'm white and I say so, and that doesn't make sense. No. And now we're looking like, you know what? Honestly, we don't care what y'all think anymore. We don't care. Y'all can believe what y'all want to believe. But we're empowering ourselves with what we know makes sense. And now that we're putting two and two together, and now that we're adding things up, shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson, because he's been on it for the longest time. Shout out to him. We adding stuff up, and now we on a very different page. We on a very different page now. All of this fighting for everybody, and we all want to get along, and we all immigrants. No, we not. And we coming, in the words of our great ancestor, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we're coming to get our check. We're coming to get our check. I can't play the video because they always give me a little video copyright claim thing or whatever the case is. But I am going to play the audio because they can't strike me on audio. They can't strike me on that. So you guys can look at this and then just listen to the audio.
At the same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with, and this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
We're coming to get our check. We're coming to get our check. Couldn't have said it any better than that. We're different now. We're different now. We're not the same. Even Dr. King, we evolve. Like I said, we might not get it right the first time. We got a lot to go through. But we gonna get it right. It's gonna be done. The job will be done. It might take a little bit longer than expected, but I promise you, y'all not gonna win. The job is gonna be done. Y'all can win a round or two maybe, but just like Tank and Ryan Garcia, y'all about to get knocked out. Y'all about to lose the match. Yeah, a round or two might go your way, but you gonna lose the match. That's all that matters, is who walks away with that damn belt, and it ain't gonna be you. That's all that matters. It's all that matters. Shout out to the Cash App from Dominique saying, yes, we are coming to get our check. Oh, yeah. We coming to get our check. We are coming to get our check. I want to give a shout out to the Cash Apps. Shout out to the Cash Apps real quick. Hold on. Shout out to my brother, William. Shout out to William. I appreciate my brother William, my solid brother William. Thank you so very much, William. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate your family. And then Lim, peace and power to you, brother. Thank you so very much. And then Latribia, I appreciate you. Thank you so very much, family. I appreciate every single last one of y'all. Shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson. Shout out to Tariq. Shout out to Brooke. Shout out to every single last one of y'all for being here. Okay, we've been keeping this thing just roll. We've been on this foundational Black American business heavy. When it's time to lock in, that's one thing we're going to do best, is we're going to lock in. Yeah, we might not agree on every little thing, every little detail, and we don't have to. I'm letting you guys know right now, we don't have to. I have very firm beliefs in what I believe, but I can respect certain differences. But as long as when it's time to go, as long as when it's time to lock in, we can lock in. That's all I'm worried about. As long as it's time to get up and get our check, as long as you want to be FBA, you want to be freedman, you want to be a Black native, you want to be this, you want to be African American, you want to be all of this stuff. As long as you say, hey, it's time for us to get these lineage-based reparations checks, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Family, I appreciate y'all being with us this evening. I really do. We've become more powerful than we've ever have been, and collectively, and it's not stopping. It's not stopping. It's not slowing down. It's not going nowhere. It's not ending. That's why they're like, when are y'all gonna stop the FBA stuff, please? Oh no, it's over with now. It's done now. Game's over now. Y'all abused us for long enough. It's over. It's over. It's done. Family, I appreciate y'all being with us this evening. Y'all can follow me on my various social media pages. If you guys have not gotten the notifications, you guys can always go to my social media pages and get yourself some notifications there. You know, because sometimes the platform don't be giving out notifications and stuff like that. But, you know, we always find a way through it. Like I said, that's that FBA culture. We always find a way. Also, hit that like button. Very important. That like button is very, very important. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Hit that like button, subscribe button, and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything, all right? Let the algorithm know that we are Foundation Black Americans. We standing on business. We coming to get our checks. We not helping no black and brown nobody, all right? We are standing on our business. With that being said, my brothers and my sisters, salute B1. B1 to y'all, okay? Black first. To every single last one of you brothers and sisters, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope y'all come back. Y'all have a good one. Y'all stay blessed.